Well, this certainly has been an interesting week. So recently, as you may have heard, I had a public debate about some contentious topics relevant to the day. It blew up in the media, and they wrote some, how you say, charitable articles on me. So I feel like I need to come out and say something. Staying silent doesn't really feel right, so I'm just going to address this here and now. I understand that I wasn't prepared for a debate of this sort with these kinds of sensitive topics at hand adequately. I was a bit all over the place, and I said a lot of stuff that could be misconstrued in all sorts of ways. Things are being extracted from this that I know I don't think. I was in there under a lot of pressure that I'm not used to being under, and as it became clear, I suck at debate. So now every haphazard, offhand remark I made in the heat of the moment is being dissected and speculated on. So I'd like to clarify. I was trying to speak to the increasing tribalization of our culture. These days, we're taught to think in explicitly racial or ethnic categories or in terms of gender or sexual orientation. And I think this in itself plays a big hand in what's gotten our country to the volatile state that it's in. The simple point I was trying to make is that it's hypocritical for those who see everything in terms of race to suddenly turn around and object when white people speak up in what they believe are the best interests of their race. And it's also hypocritical to keep saying you want to have an honest conversation about race if you don't actually want to have an honest conversation about race. And anytime someone brings up an uncomfortable statistic, you freak out and burn things down or something. And I mean, you can see this in all the countless media articles that get pumped out every day from the highest levels saying, for instance, you can't be racist against white people, or it's a good thing whites are going to become a minority. Or you see it on TV when someone as mainstream as Samantha Bee says, white people ruined America for voting Trump.
It's pretty clear who ruined America. White people.
I suppose you could guess the reaction if Samantha Bee said black people ruined America for voting overwhelmingly for Barack Obama, which they did both times. I'm not saying that's true, but the same standard applies. The point I was trying to make, albeit indelicately, is that you can't keep banging the racial category drum and then be surprised and shocked when people think in racial categories. And just for the sake of total clarity, I do completely understand that historically the African American community has had a raw deal in this country. Discrimination certainly exists, but I do believe it goes all ways. I'm not naive to the fact that we, as a country, have had a terrible history of dealing with race. I mean, of course, from slavery to Jim Crow to even the Irish, but the point is that this kind of discrimination is universally wrong, and I feel like, for some reason, we're regressing on this front. Pointing at a race and saying all of this race is blank is racist. And I have to be honest, I don't see many people losing their jobs over this kind of garbage. And I'd like to make it clear, I have no problem with immigration when it's handled correctly. I should have made it clear I was mostly speaking to mass immigration. I am literally a child of two immigrants. It would be pretty heinous of me to say that immigration is impossible, because it's not. I brought all this stuff up offhand in a random Twitch stream late at night, so I understand why people looking at this think I'm some sort of explicit ethno-nationalist, but I'm not. I genuinely believe this country would be better off if we dropped the hyphens and just all referred to each other as fellow Americans. And for a number of years now, it's been disheartening to me to see this strange road we've been headed down. I really don't understand it. And some of these topics have really been weighing on me, so I felt compelled to respond in some way, perhaps against my better judgment. I know people don't expect these kinds of things from me. So in summary, I'm sorry if this has come out of left field for some of you. I hope this has cleared up at least a little bit if you were curious what was going on. Any of the things in the stream that could be considered weird sounding or off-putting, I probably agree with you that they were. So I hope you don't read too much into it. That said, I genuinely hope people keep debating, keep talking to each other, and keep learning. Honest, civil discourse without witch hunts is the only way we're getting out of this mess. I'd prefer to take a step back now, return to doing comedy. It's what I do better anyway. Thank you sincerely to all of you who've supported me through this ride. I really appreciate it. If you'd like to catch up on my new videos, you know where to find me.